Hello and welcome to the Property Business Podcast. Once again, I am joined by James Hughes and Jonathan Woods. How are you boys?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, I'm very.
Just I was going to say fresh off the conference from last week and back into to full swing of work. But yeah, what an experience that was, and we'll talk a little bit about it with our guests today as well.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm here to value a flat above commercial in Annerley, and I've listed a house in Whitstable today. So I've got an EXP agent who's helping on this awesome listing. Yeah, it's a bit all over today, but all good.
I saw that
Now,
video on Instagram. Looks incredible.
it does. And we've got a special guest with us today. We have got the lettings expert, Elsbeth. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Now, before we came on, I joked and said I'm not even going to attempt your last name. So let us know what your last name is.
It is Elsbeth Mauleverer, is my full name.
And is that a foreign last name? Have you got foreign blood in you?
It's the last one is actually French, but I'm not French. It's just an old
Yeah.
name. But Mauleverer is meant to be, or something like that. Probably shouldn't have even attempted it, but there we go.
Well, first of all, tell us about your history in real estate, because obviously we know you as a lettings expert. You were even asked at the EXP conference to come on and talk about your experience in lettings. So tell us about your experience. Go back to when you first got into real estate and how you've come to EXP today.
Sure. So I felt like many people, I fell into a state agency by mistake. Sorry, my dog is just licking my fingers. Go away. Shush. By complete mistake. It was actually a Saturday job while I was training to do something completely different. And then a Saturday job led to me being headhunted by someone at KFH at the time and just said, you seem to be quite good at this lettings malarkey. Would you like to just be a sort of roaming negotiator for us? So I spent years at KFH just bobbing around all of their offices doing lettings. Then got a permanent job with them and realized I really did not like being a salesperson in an office. I know some people thrive off that. I really don't. All your call stats, you've got to do X amount of viewings, you've got to do this, you've got to hit this target. And if you didn't hit a target, it was as if the whole world had come crashing down. And I realized that was not for me. So I actually asked to go sidewards and do an admin role. And it was during that admin role that the property management team at KFH said, you seem quite organised and why don't you come and work for us? So got into property management. From there, after many fabulous years at KFH, I got headhunted by Douglas and Gordon when I helped them with a deal. A client was moving over to D&G, was fed up with KFH, moved over, and the chap I was dealing with at the time just said, oh, you've actually made that really straightforward. This never happens. Would you like a job? So I went and had an interview and they offered me a job about an hour later and it was just too good to say no to. So then went to D&G, spent 10 wonderful years at Douglas and Gordon before we were sold to Foxtons. And I got mixed up in that, became a Foxtons employee, and that is the real push that I think I needed to go, come on now, what are you doing? You can't keep bobbing around in corporate that, every time you hit a ceiling, it's kind of you're stunted the entire time. So I left, set up a property management company. I'd been in touch with John for ages. John and I have known each other for a long time. And I was actually going to give John my lettings to do and my sales to do whenever that opportunity arose. And John, thank you, quite rightly turned around and said, Elspeth, what the hell are you doing? You need to be doing this yourself. And it had been so long since I was on the tools with lettings. I did sort of doubt myself a little bit. But thank God I didn't, because I'm now 18 months in and all the ones that I was managing, I've now been able to relet I would say about 80% of that portfolio that I was managing. So it's great because then I can be the one-stop shop for all my clients and it's working really well.
So you literally manage a lot of their properties, but also find tenants for them as well. And as you say, just do everything they need from if someone's got a property that they want to rent out?
Yeah, so I can do absolutely everything. So through the channel that I've got with EXP, I can advertise the properties, same as what everyone's doing, do all the viewings, and set up these lettings for success. The big bonus to my clients is not only do I know their properties inside and out because I'm managing them, they love the fact that I'm then the one doing the viewings. And I love that too, because having been in corporate, managing well over 100 properties with, how can I put this delicately, but with front offices that are more, they are laser focused on getting the deal. They're not necessarily laser focused on the quality of tenant that they're putting in. Whereas if I'm letting it and managing it and this is my business, a client can rest assured that if I get a whiff that tenant's going to be problematic, done. That deal is dead in the water. I actually lost one a couple of weeks ago. Had been managing this property. It was actually the first client that came over when I went independent. And their tenants moved out. We launched the property, had a wonderful run of viewings, got an offer, and literally 2 days before this person was meant to move in, I just really smelt a rat, and I just had to call it. And they've now moved friends in. I've actually lost the entire property, but I would much rather that than be managing something right now that I just know that was going to go tits up. And that, I think, is the best thing that you can offer a client.
I think one of the great things also is that you've taken all of your background and knowledge, and then been able to partner with a brokerage that's given you a platform to really excel in what you're good at. But also, you've managed to sell some as well. The things that have come along that and you've also you've got this portfolio. At some point, when a landlord wants to sell, rather than having to go to the sales manager at the other end of the side and go, oh, hang on a minute, do you want to sell this? And also, if a client's asking you a question, you're not going to give a bias. So in the traditional front offices, you have a lettings department and a sales department, and the lettings manager wants to retain the lettings business and the sales manager wants to retain the sales business. And therefore, they're going to give biased views over what that client should do. Whereas you, as holding all the cards, if you think that it's the right time for that client to sell, then yep, I can put your hand up and I'll sell it for you. But if it's the right thing to hold on to that asset, you can re-rent it and carry on. I think, what was it that made you, some people might say to you, Elsbeth, why don't you just do it by yourself? Why don't you just not partner with EXP? Why don't you just do it yourself? What would you say? What keeps you with us?
Well, then I wouldn't get to work with you as much, John. In all seriousness, like, going alone is scary at the best of times. But going alone under a brokerage like EXP and having the network that we've got, I think is really powerful, because you're still running your own business. You still get up in the morning, you're still working out of your spare room or, the Regis offices that we go to. But it is when things go wrong or when you second guess yourself. One thing that I've really found about being independent, and I used to do a lot of property management and sort of compliance training when I was, in the big corporate firms. And then suddenly you go to do your first deal and there's a little niggle in your head going, oh God, have I got that right? Have I done that right? And where you're normally used to just talking to someone in the seat next to you in an office, it's lovely to be able to have people like John, Miles, that you can just pick up the phone and be like, wait, I have got this right, haven't I? And you know that you have. It's just normal conversations that you would be having in an office. And I love being that person to other people. My phone has rung 5 times this morning with other guys just going, so I'm just putting this lettings deal through. Can I just triple check this with you? A couple of licensing questions, and we all know it. We all know our industry, but it's really lovely to have that collaborative.
And how do you brand yourself? Because obviously you have the EXP website, you have your Mauleverer home website. A few companies, when they, similar to yourself, they're keen to join EXP, but they're concerned about losing their brand. How do you brand yourself? Are you out there saying EXP? Are you out there saying Mauleverer Home? How do you put yourself out there on social media?
I'm probably doing more with Mauleverer Home simply because that is what I set up first, and that is simply what my clients came over to me from a property management perspective.
Yeah.
So they are all signed up that they've got nothing to do with EXP until I let or rent their properties. And then, it's such an easy conversation, to have. I thought at the beginning it would be quite difficult. It's not, it's super easy. It's just, great. You're still going to be dealing with me to facilitate the sales and lettings part of my business. I've partnered with EXP. They're fantastic. They offer me Rightmove, Zoopla. I can give you exactly the same reach as a high street agent can give you. It's just at the tiny little bit at the bottom, it's going to say EXP rather than Mauleverer Home. And the terms and conditions that they sign, EXP is, fine one bit, but when you send it through these digital platforms, it just reels out like one agreement. So, I've got my bits and bobs in there as well. So I wouldn't say that anyone wanting to join would have to worry about the branding. Also, EXP give you colours that you can choose from. I've got a sage green, and the EXP website is exactly the same hex colour of sage green as my other website is.
I was going to say your website is very, very similar. The EXP one and your very similar.
So Elsbeth, there's one. I think when I speak to people that in front offices thinking about dreaming about starting their own business, who are very lettings specific, one of the worries that people have is, how do I deal with all the compliance? How do I deal with, I don't want to be doing all this paperwork. And I think it was something that I thought about quite heavily as well, is that, I wanted to run the business and I know what the negotiators have to go through to get a deal across the line. And I was thinking, God, I don't want to be bogged down with all of that. Whereas actually now I think what's great with having this partnership with EXP is that is leveraged. So you have a virtual platform that allows you to progress your deals without actually having to do it. Have you found that that's been quite useful for you? Do you do your own signing of contracts? Do you do all of that stuff, or is that done by someone else?
No, I do get the back office through EXP to help with that. When you start with all of this, and you guys will know because you do lettings as well, you've just got to keep your finger on the pulse anyway.
Yeah.
When you set up your own business, there's no way in hell that you're going to agree a deal and be like, poof, there you go. Can you go and sort that for me? You're always going to have your finger on the pulse. So I've set it up slightly differently with the back office because I manage them all myself. So the process is slightly different, but they set up the references for me. They draw up the paperwork. I ask to check the paperwork before it gets sent out.
Yep.
Simply because, these are clients that have been with me for 10 plus years. They've taken a leap of faith joining me. So I just want to make sure
things like the client money protection, that kind of thing is covered off, isn't it? So you don't have to worry about.
It's all covered off. So I don't take any money. So, and that is a luxury, because when I first started this, you cannot get a client account for love or money. You just can't. You need a certain amount of properties in order to get one, or be over a certain threshold, and you can't do that unless you actually start letting them, but you can't let them unless you've got, it's bonkers. So the back office at EXP has all of that for you. You don't have to worry. So they deal with all the money, they deal with all of the rent collection, they deal with all of the client statements. And that part of it has been really useful. The other benefit with that is there is so much compliance about renting your property that me as the agent, I have my own checklists, like I'm organised with this. But then you send everything off to a back office and you know that everything is being triple checked. Everything is being reserved. So, when you get an offer agreed, I send everything, the how to rent guide, gas certs, everything. So I know I've done it. But the back office is also going to do it and check everything and check every single date of those certificates. So you are never, ever going to fall foul of not serving something at the right time or letting something without something in place. It's It's going through too many hands for that to be missed. And that is a real luxury. That's why you partner with someone like EXP, because doing that on your own, the buck seriously stops with you. And that can be scary.
How long did you say you've been with EXP for?
Just over 18 months. It's like 19 months or something now.
And
So it's quite new.
financially, where are you in a much better position now than what you were when you were working with other companies? I'm intrigued, if you're earning more than what you were earning before.
I wouldn't say personally I am, because I'm probably not paying myself enough, but my business, my business, and I'm really shocked, but also incredibly proud, because I had quite a senior role, and for a property manager, I really had quite a senior role with a decent wage, and my company is earning just over double what my wage was per month.
That's
Does that
awesome.
make sense?
That really is awesome. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people struggle with, especially very successful people. I've been chatting recently to someone who is, been made a part owner, director of a local estate agents, and he's on a good wage. He's got a good life. It's quite easy. And it sounds like similar situation to you. You could have kept going with a nice wage, nice job, security, relatively good security. You never know when you're in a paid job. But at the same time, 5 weeks paid holiday, all of that, you've taken that risk, given that up, come to EXP, but it just shows you it is worth the risk. You can see how much you enjoy doing what you do and how good you are. You can see you're talking about it with a smile on your face. And the fact that you can enjoy it, love it, and earn over double the amount, and that's only just after 18 months.
Yeah.
You're going to keep growing and growing and growing. And I'm telling you right now, if anyone is interested in joining EXP, and especially if they are, have a lettings business, you would be someone 100%. If I had a lettings business and I was thinking of joining EXP, I would want to join under you because of your level of expertise. And I think that's the side of your business that you're going to find really exciting and really grow going forward as well.
I hope so. I do want to encourage more people to take the leap, because it is scary, but especially in lettings and in property management. I spent nearly 20 years sitting in a corporate office, which I don't regret, but every time, the years and years that would go by, nothing would happen with your salary. There were no bonuses, yet there's more and more and more work that keeps landing on your desk. If you ever plucked up the courage to have one of those difficult conversations of, where am I going here? Can I take on a bit more responsibility? Is there something else I could be doing? Like, how do I grow? You're often just thrown a random title, and they're just like, oh, we've promoted you to X. And it's like, what does that actually mean, though? It doesn't it looks fabulous on a CV, but it doesn't actually mean anything, and if anyone out there is like me, that was constantly like, what else can I do? Can I get involved with training? Can I get involved with the compliance? Can I get involved with mentoring people? What could I be doing? They will happily just load you with absolutely no reward. This isn't every company. This is just a snippet of some of my experience. But when you actually leave that, it does take a few months to sort of decompress and be a bit like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? But when you start to see yourself coming through the other side, it is genuinely the most rewarding thing I've ever done for myself, for my career. It's just been life-changing, absolutely life-changing. And even if this were to all go tits up and fail tomorrow, I could probably walk into any estate agent and get a job. I wouldn't want to, though. I genuinely don't think I could go back and do that, because
I was going to say, like, when you first started out, you're quite new. Well, I was very new into it at the time as well, because 18 months, I'm 2.5, so I'd been doing it for about just over a year. But your start was, you were finding your way And you obviously had the support of myself and a few others at that time, but now it's grown so much more that if someone was thinking about doing this, and let's say they came to you and said, Elsbeth, look, I really want to follow you, I want to do what you've done. Well, you could accelerate that pathway so much faster because you've pioneered it. You've kind of blazed the trail, and you know what works and what doesn't work, and how to market yourself and who to target and how to bring in new business and how to follow leads up. And you've got checklists, and I know how organized you are. You're way better than I am. And all of your things that you've got, I look at it and think, oh my goodness, I need an Elsbeth in my life to sort me out. But the point I was making there is that you said right at the start, that the part of it that you really like is passing and imparting knowledge to other people. So that to me is something which is hugely valuable. And that when we had that conversation, I could have been really selfish and gone, yeah, Elsbeth, yeah, I'll take your lettings. But I didn't, because of the unique setup with EXP and creating this altruistic network of people helping each other, because your growth is tied to my growth, and across our whole of our people, but even people that aren't necessarily tied to each other, I think we've got a really great mutual understanding amongst each other that we help each other, and that's really unique. Because I know I've spoken to other brokers and different brokerages where it's like cat and dog. It's cutthroat. It's people out for themselves, and why should I help you? You're the competition, even if you're under the same brokerage banner, which I think is absurd. But we're all about collaboration and helping each other, and I think that your temperament and what you can offer someone is amazing.
I genuinely don't think that people actually get that, and it's not just an EXP thing, it's also a going self-employed thing. I am shocked at how many other businesses, all of my contractors, I've met interior designers, short-let people, other letting agents, other property managers, that the minute you're self-employed and so are they're like, cool, how can we help each other? Let's go and have coffee. How can we work together? This is really lovely. And it actually happens. It's really wonderful. And I'm doing a lot with Miles, as you guys know. We both live in the same area. So we've done a joint thing together where, we're working together to support our community. And it really does happen. You have infighting in corporate.
No. Do you want to talk about that, Elsbeth? Because haven't you got your first listing from that sponsorship that you're doing down at the Rookery? Do you want to talk about that?
We completed last week.
Amazing. And
well done.
I have to say, your customer service levels there, it's like a above and beyond. It's actually, I'm learning a lot by trying to kind of get to your customer service level. It's not just the buyer's completion, it's the seller's completion, like hand delivering plants on a Sunday. So I'm learning a lot from trying to be as good as you. Yeah, when it comes to that, yeah.
Instagram post with the card and the key rings and
the
stuff.
plant.
I was like, oh.
Annoyingly, I gave her the plant, but I left the plant holder in my bag, so I was carrying around this very nice plant pot. So I've got to go back to the flat. I gave the plant without a plant pot. But one day I'll be as good as you, Elsbeth.
No, it's perfect. I just think it's a lovely touch. Like last week I went and met a couple of clients and some tenants, and I was shocked. Every single one of them had a little something for me just to say, oh, thank you for everything that you're doing. And I already had something up my sleeve for them. And I was like, God, it's just going to be every time we meet, everyone's exchanging gifts.
When you've done a good job for them is when they give you something, because normally it's us giving them something. But yeah, I think you've done a good job when they have something for you. I agree with that.
Yeah. But I will do that, James, and just give a quick shout out to this sponsorship that I'm doing with Miles. So Miles and I both live in Streatham. We both use these lovely Rookery gardens, and we have collaborated and sponsored those gardens. So any sale that we do out of that sponsorship, we give a percentage of our fee back, straight back into the community and everything that they're doing for our green spaces. So we got our first listing, which was great. We had them signed up in 48 hours. We had an over asking price offer within a week. And I think we put it all through. I think it was within 3 months. And we completed last week. So as a welcome gift for the seller, who was our client, and the new buyer, we reached out to some of the local businesses that do the farmers markets up at the Rookery, and one of them gave one of their lovely candles. Another guy that makes fabulous sparkling wine, Urban Wines, gave us a bottle of that. So we're able to not only do something and give a bit of our feedback to our local community, we're also encompassing local businesses as part of those gifts. So, you know, we're able to get their products into people's homes as well, which I think is just really special because
That is amazing agency, and it brings a massive smile to my face, as I'm sure it does to all of us. Like, that little story is amazing, where everyone's benefiting from collaborating and working together. So well done. Yeah, amazing work.
Yeah, agreed. Brilliant.
So I know there's going to be a lot of people listening to this who are going to want to find out more and ask you more questions about how you're getting on and getting advice from you, Elsbeth. So how would we get in contact with you?
So LinkedIn, I am Elsbeth Mauleverer with my name on here, and on Instagram, I'm Mauleverer_home. So anyone can send me a message and come and join the party. It'll be fun.
Is there anything else that you wanted to chat about today, or any other questions from the boys?
No, that's it. I'm in daily contact with John, so great.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Elsbeth. It's, you know, you've been an incredible example of people that, you know, that's just as a part that it's not been an easy ride. It wasn't something that happened overnight. You know, you've grafted hard to get where you are now, and you're only just at the start of that. And, you know, I think it's a great, you know, real good role model for anyone that's thinking of doing it. So well done, Elsbeth.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute joy. And I can't wait to see how big you can get this letting business going, because you're doing a great job. All right, take care.
Well done. Thanks, take care. Have
Bye,
a good
guys.
afternoon. Bye.